All right, so I'll get rolling here. Like Coach said, I'm Ryan Bartel, offensive line coach here at Merchant Marine Academy. Just a little bit about myself. I've been going into my third year here at Kings Point. Okay, uh, kind of new to the option world. Going into my third season, my 11th season total coaching. In football and college at the college level. But the option game is relatively new to me, and I'm taking to it, very well because I love running the ball and it's all good. So, been at Kings Point here for 3 years. Spent a year at Moravian, co-offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, Lafayette, Princeton. Before that, mostly all on the offensive side of the ball, mostly with the O line throughout my career. Kind of just going into, this kind of really does lead into what uh my next part of my presentation of uh what is USMMA, what is Kings Point, and why does it affect the next part of my presentation, right? We're one of the 5 federal service academies, train students for the maritime industry and the armed services, right? There is no active duty commitment, right? They can choose to go into any branch of the armed services, right? But there is no true active duty commitment like it is with other academies, right? Tuition free, right? Paid with your service, right? Whether it's 5 years active or you can go into the maritime industry. Those guys are making a lot of money coming out right out of college, doing those types of things. Okay. Tuition free, right? You pay with your service, just like all the academies. We're roughly about 1,000 students all across the U.S. We're about 35, 40 minutes outside of New York City, right? Another kind of point of our school is each student spends about a year broken up into 2 different segments off campus in their C-year training, right? So these guys are getting real hands-on training, on commercial U.S. flagships throughout their time, as a sophomore and then as a junior as a football player, right? So for us, we're looking for a particular type of kid, right, who wants to serve and not necessarily, in any particular branch, but has that, kind of want to do a little bit more about themselves, right? We got a particular type of kid that we love and makes us kind of be able to act, play the way that we play, right? So some of the factors, right, and I'll kind of get into this, like our guys are typically, especially our linemen, are the smallest in the country. Not always the smallest, but there's some particular things that they have to do to be in school that doesn't allow us to have 300-pound guys. So they have to be able to run a mile and a half. All males on campus have to be able to run a mile and a half under 12 minutes, right? And they have to be under 23% body fat. So that means a guy who's 6 foot, really can't be more than 250. Okay. I don't know the math, but we don't have guys who are very big, right? So what that does is that makes us have to play to our skill set, right? We have to play fast. We have to change the way we do. The O-line is really where it kind of rears its head, is we're always going to be lighter. We've got to find a way to get it done. And that kind of goes into my next point of how I kind of work with these guys during practice, during games and everything like that. And then, how we attack from a schematic standpoint, right? Like I said, another factor, right? These guys are not, I don't have these guys all the time, right? I have not seen my juniors or my 2B juniors and 2B seniors since the day we walked off the last game of the last game of the year, right? So it's a very different atmosphere, right? Coach Kroll is our head coach, who actually, was the offensive line coach and offensive coordinator, still involved with the offense, still calls all the offensive stuff, right? He has built this program to be at a point where, that's not even a factor, right? These guys are working hard. They're cranked up all over the world. I was on a Zoom call last week. Kids are in, Asia and, Europe. And it's a really amazing how these kids can deal with all the factors they have, right? Now kind of getting into the next element, right? Now that we've done the 6 point, we've done the 4 point, right? Now we're getting into in the shoot still, right? Full drive off the ball. So I'll say, hey, going to the right, okay, full drive, right? So the same thing happens, right? We're now working on our load, punch, and drive. Okay. So you can see here, this pretty decent job here. Up top, load, drive, getting off the ball. Okay, 73 here does a pretty good job of being underneath of the pad level, right? We're not in shoulder pads, so we got our bags here, right? His feet are a little bit tight, okay? But firing off the ball and getting this guy knocked off the ball, right? Would like to see him stay connected, right? Bag holder's got to do a better job of staying in there, right? But this is essentially the position where I want connected to the bag, hips tight to the body, good angles in my body, and driving this guy off the ball. Right? Going right, going left. Right? You can see this is the same group going twice. Okay. So the same element that I got in the previous thing, where these guys are going again and again, and kind of until they get it right. Okay. Sophomore, first day of college football, freshman, right? His struggle always is get those hands inside. All right. Want to be able to control these guys, and drive them off the ball. Now we do the same drill with a heavy bag. Okay. Right. All about just recreating these different things and kind of doing them in different ways that allow our guys to get used to making these guys fly off the ball. To kind of what does that look like on the field, right? I can show you all these drills, but if I don't show you what it looks like on the field, right, what does that mean, right? So we're running, we're running inside veer here, right? Right guard, his job, he knows he's base blocking this, right? This 2-eye, okay? So all he's worried about here is taking this guy as far up the field as I can, okay? So it's a pretty decent job of first step that way, right? Hands are decently loaded. He's a pretty powerful kid. Not necessarily as low as you want, but he's got a little bit of a height disadvantage in that way. But he's covering him up, right? And he is connected, and he is running this guy off the ball, right? This is our twos at the end of a game. Okay, he played 6'2", played a lot for us in the different spots this year. Okay, but he is flying off the ball, staying connected, right, through the echo of the whistle, right, until that quarterback is 15 yards past him. He's connected with that defender. Right? I don't want to see these guys get dumped. Right? I want to see these guys stay on. Right? Same thing. Right guard. He knows I've got to protect this area right here. I'm thick through this outside half, and I'm fast off the ball. Right? His speed off the ball was his biggest asset, right? Being able to fire off the ball, shock the defender, and open up that area. Okay. Does it look the prettiest? Is he fall off late? Yes, but he's aggressive, fast off the ball, low pad level, underneath of the defender, getting him off his feet and displacing him, 2 to 3 yards downfield, which is what we're looking for.